War's end brought the Santa Fe a public eager to travel, and on something nicer than a troop train with worn-out, unair-conditioned heavyweight-era cars. The Santa Fe invested in passenger travel once again, and the lighter cars and more efficient diesels made rail travel a more exciting and inviting experience. And for a while longer, the Santa Fe could compete with a growing airline passenger industry, which gave the option of trading comfort for speed. The American public would eventually have access to cars capable of making long trips with comfort and reliability on roads closely paralleling Santa Fe tracks. The Santa Fe always had a reputation for speed. This reputation was crystallized in 1905 by the colorful and wealthy Western figure Death Valley Scotty, who paid the Santa Fe $5,500 to run a special train from Los Angeles to Chicago in less than 46 hours. The stunt turned out to be great publicity for the Santa Fe. The skillful marketing people of the Santa Fe sold their tickets on the idea that they had the fast track from Chicago to the California coast. Chicago was the nation's railroad hub with a multitude of connections to the east. Speed was marketed with the beauty of the Southwest, making getting there a large part of the attraction. The frequent use of the American Indian as an icon of that beauty was reflected in Santa Fe advertising art, as well as the decor inside passenger cars and stations. This influence was complete down to the stylized replication of the Indian headdress known as the war bonnet. The most familiar face in the public's railroading awareness was this one, especially in the red and silver war bonnet colors used by the Santa Fe for passenger locomotives. This is the diesel that permanently elbowed steam aside on main lines everywhere in the U.S. This is the diesel that outsold every other make and model available in the 1940 to 1950 era. Beginning with the FT model, the F-Series diesel proved the very idea of eliminating the high-maintenance aspects of steam power. The Santa Fe could run a set of diesel engines through multiple divisions, and only the crews would need changing, whereas steam power would be changed out for water, fuel, and ash cleaning. From 1940 to 1959, the U.S. railroads, including Santa Fe's competitors, bought over 7,500 F-Series EMD diesels. Most F units were built as the 1,500 horsepower F7 model. Here's a breakdown of Santa Fe units purchased. The red and silver war bonnet units were assigned to passenger service, and the more businesslike appearance was for freight. Let's go to the Los Angeles, California Union Station and look at the eastbound Santa Fe Chief at some locations that have either changed or disappeared altogether. This station dates to 1939 when the Union Pacific, Southern Pacific, and Santa Fe all relocated their trains to one common terminal. This sprawling facility is a stub-in terminal, and trains cannot run through. The tracks dead end at Aliso Street. The Santa Fe Chief would leave the LA Union Passenger Terminal at 11:30 a.m. and move out through the maze of tracks in the Yard Throat area. The tower to the right is the terminal tower. Past the Yard Throat is Mission Tower that controls all trains in, out, and past the terminal. This E9-powered Union Pacific train is about to run by the south face of the Mission Tower and head to Riverside, California on UP tracks that partly follow the east bank of the LA River. Union Pacific will use Santa Fe tracks from Riverside to Daggett, California to get past the famous Cajon Pass. We'll visit Cajon later on to see joint Santa Fe and UP action. The Santa Fe tracks peel off to the northeast for the Pasadena subdivision on the north side of the Mission Tower. The Santa Fe Chief will run along the west bank of the LA River and cross the river. Santa Fe tracks also run compass south along the LA River west bank to Redondo Junction. We'll see their San Diegan service passenger trains on the San Bernardino subdivision also. The LA River Bridge, shown here, was removed in the 90s after the Santa Fe closed the Pasadena subdivision. This line was sold to Metro Rail to be a future extension of their blue line from LA Union Terminal out to Sierra Madre. Each scene here was shot on film on a different day, so you'll see a variety of F3 and F7 units with a good representation of unit numbers. The green flags on number 325 indicate a second section train is following the Chief. The old Highland Park station once occupied this siding, but it was already a victim of progress by this date. We'll follow this line out to the Pasadena station, which no longer serves passenger trains. Much of what you see here is gone, and only the roadbed remains. One happy exception is the famous bridge over the Arroyo Seco that was built in 1896. It will be part of the Blue Line Metro system, scheduled to open by 2002 after a number of delays. This is really creeping along due to the many grade crossings and the tracks meandering through residential areas. By now, some of the passengers are wondering about Santa Fe's reputation for speed. Once out on the desert, this train will more than make up for any dawdling here. The Union Pacific ran a branch line out this way, and the track curving to the right is the UP line that once ran north to Linda Vista. This is South Pasadena, with some industries that still needed rail freight service at the time. We finally reached the Pasadena station, which is long closed. For decades, many famous people and Hollywood stars used the station to avoid the crowds at the downtown station. This is the Colorado Boulevard crossing, a road made famous by the annual New Year's Rose Parade, and it was also a small portion of the old Route 66. These F-units proved their point to the Santa Fe, and many would stay on the system into the 70s. They were also an important part of establishing Santa Fe's good reputation, and they lasted long enough to bring the Santa Fe to the end of their involvement in the passenger business. This train looks like a Santa Fe train, but it's actually a 1971 view after Amtrak assumed almost all passenger train operation in the U.S. Eventually, Amtrak trains seen on Santa Fe tracks would have new SDP40 locomotives from EMD, and the F-units would be retired by the mid-70s. The Amtrak look would take hold more and more, and Santa Fe even began painting the F-units in a yellow war bonnet scheme to distance them further from their involvement with passenger trains. Santa Fe continued to invest in new equipment, such as full-length dome cars, and they maintained their standards of service. Through the late 60s and into the 70s, the financial losses associated with passengers were carried. Some people still traveled to see the beauty and enormity of the country out west on vacations. But there was a loss of business travel on the long-distance trains due to the domination of air travel. Overall, the Santa Fe had good patronage on its trains, and the money loss wasn't from the empty seat problem many other railroads had. The problems were with the heavy expenses keeping the equipment up to standards and the labor-intensive nature of catering to passengers, especially on long-distance trains traveling thousands of miles. In the declining years, some railroads treated passengers as self-loading freight, but the Santa Fe did not. They realized that a satisfied vacationing passenger could be a potential shipper of freight goods. Quality service and keeping of schedules on a passenger train would be an indication of how his freight would be handled. By 1967, the famous Fred Harvey service was pulled from the Santa Fe dining cars. Years before, the Harvey Company ran restaurants, once well represented by the one at Barstow Station. This station once featured full dining and lodging. Passenger trains also depended on express package and mail revenue to help pay for expenses. The loss of these government contracts by 1967 and the slow demise of the Railway Express Agency would also contribute to the overall decline of passenger trains in the U.S. Here we see the Santa Fe's eastbound Grand Canyon with an interesting mix of head-end equipment. This is the westbound counterpart, probably in the winter of 1965.